Yeah, hello and welcome to episode number 6 of my ongoing mod creation tutorial. My name is CrEaToXx and I'm a mod creator on the Nexus. And today's topic is scripting with Papyrus and creating mods based on this. And let's hop right in. What we need for that is Xedit or SF Starfield 1 edit. I still refer to Xedit because that's its legacy name, I'd say, or its general name for all Bethesda titles, where the X stands for the specific title, so in that case it's SF. And you would need that. Download, install according to instructions. Basically all you have to do is copy it wherever you want and then put a link on your desktop to activate it, okay? Then you go to GitHub by a creator named Ovid, or let's say a patronizer, or I'm not sure if that is the correct terminology. Basically, he is the one that is keeping on supporting the two tools that you are needing in order to create scripts without the creation kit or creation engine, whatever it is named in the future. And I believe he is the original creator of Decompiling, which is a decompiler. But Caprica was originally created by someone else, but I could be wrong here. I'm not sure about that. Doesn't really matter. You go to the GitHub, Decompiling, which is the French name for whatever, and Caprica. Download, install according to instructions. Okay, you will find them here, of course, on the GitHub. And then you go to the Nexus again and search for a user named SKK50. He's one of my most favorite, I'd say, because he's extremely skilled. That's the major reason why I like him. He's extremely skilled. And he provided a very convenient way of actually decompiling and compiling, because if you wouldn't use his command files, you would need to do it all with a CMD, okay, on your own. So you would need to have some basic skills in navigating and instructions in the CMD window. And if you don't have that, because I know most users never fiddle around with that, especially younger users. And basically what he did is automizing the process of doing that. Okay, so you want to download his files as well and install according to instructions, which could turn out to be a little bit complicated, but you're going to find a way. You're going to find a way, okay? So you want to install those 4 tools, I say, because that's what we need. And what I want to do specifically, because I already did one mod yesterday, that is making use of my very first Papyrus script. And basically what it does is providing an interaction menu, as you can see here, to interact with the world, okay? And let me demonstrate quickly what it does going in the game. Basically, it creates an option, a menu-based option or a hotkey-based option for you to interact with the world. In that case, it's an actor you can interact with. And my today's goal is, because in Fallout 4 I was making a mod that is named Friendly Actor Configurator. See, so normally you would only have the option to talk with him, and now you have the option to make way, which is bound on the key on the hotkey or the key enter. And if I press enter, this is what happens. Okay, make way, get the fuck out of my way. You know the drill, Basco. Don't always stand in my way. Also you. Okay. Now, whoops. She's gone. Whatever. So. And as I said, in Fallout 4 I was making a mod Friendly Actor Configurator, and basically what it allowed you to do was interacting with actors and configuring to your heart's content, okay? Do whatever you want with them. And what I want to do is, because I have a couple of ideas, I want to expand on that idea, but not limit it to only actors. What I want to do is a global world interactor, because I can't be bothered to continuously develop multiple versions of a mod that will potentially conflict with each other, because this perk menu entry, that's how you call it, perk menu entries are limited to, I believe, 3 or 4 instances. you can add more instances, but the UI will not allow you to see that at one point. So the UI would just omit that, and you couldn't see it anymore, okay? So what does a menu has any purpose without you knowing what it does, you know? And I just want to combine all the ideas in one mod. And it also makes sense because of convenience and development reasons, so that you do, as I already said, you can't be bothered to continuously provide multiple versions of one and the same idea with one and the same approach, okay? So, and as I already said, what those kinds of mods do is making use of something named a perk menu entry. Okay? Entry point, activate choice. So basically what that says, and then you have, see, that's the label of the menu, make way. So basically what that says is it will add a perk to the player which allows interacting with the world via menus, or hotkeys in that case. Okay, so, wait, let me quickly clean my glasses here. Damn nerds always need to clean their glasses. Okay, so, due to the lack of creation kit, I cannot exactly demonstrate what all the tabs are doing, but I will try my best to do this in Xedit, okay? Because in the creation kit, obviously, it's much more visual, much better for you to see what you actually have to do than here. You have to learn and you have to guess initially, but at one point, if you got the trail of it, you know what to do. And you basically set that up, and then you add a script to it, and we come to that later, and the script does all the work, and you need a quest, which will add the perk, because the only other way you would, there are probably other ways to skin the cat, but the most rational way is to use a quest that will add this perk to your character, because the other way would be to use the console to give yourself that perk, but that's not very practical. Because most users don't even know that there is a console in the game, so the majority doesn't know anything about mod creation or whatever. Even though in Starfield the number is probably rising due to better instructions on the mod creators page, which I really like. You know, it's always good if mod users learn more about how to create mods and how to interact with mods. It's not necessarily about only creating mods, it's also good to have an understanding how to interact with mods via the console or via editing in Xedit, because it's totally valid that you use Xedit to personalize your mod, the mods that you are downloading. Have a little thing in a mod that you downloaded that you want to change, use Xedit. It's perfectly to be used for that. So, and we use the quest to give the player the perk, and the perk does all the menu work, okay? So, and for that we have two scripts. This is the Perk fragment script, and in Creation Kit, those Perk fragment scripts are auto-generated. But in Xedit, we only have the option to manually do that. And the quest has the quest script. And now we're going to go to the scripts. And you will also see the environment that I'm having here. So basically, that's my development area. That's the Starfield folder. And that's my area where I have all the mods. All my mods that I've created so far, and Starfield basically is on C in the default folder, and I know some people would now say, no, don't do that, but I don't care. You just have to set up Windows correctly so it doesn't fuck around with your settings, I'd say. But if it does, the recommended way would be to install Starfield outside of the program x86 folder. That's also totally valid, and most people will probably recommend you to do this. I don't. That's just personal preference. You just have to set up Windows to not fuck around with it, you know? So, and there you can see, there I have my second hard drive. There's modding, there's Starfield. This is where all the tools are. And as you can see, the script extender, it's also a tool. Okay, let me get this straight. Most people would say it's a mod. No, it's not a mod. It's a tool. It enhances the script engine. It's a tool, okay? It's not a mod. You can create mods based on that extended script engine, but it's not a mod. So my mods, then the mods that I'm using, backup for all sorts of files like the custom ini and hotkey and whatnot, AutoExec. And that's the development area. which you will probably need to create according to the instructions of SKK50. And there we have our original script files extracted, and you need BAE for this, which you will learn about on SKK50's website, Nexus site. You need to install this as well, and basically what you do then is Starfield data, and the scripts are inside the Starfield miscellaneous folder. So Starfield BA2, this one, you just drag and drop it here, and then you extract all the scripts, okay? That's what you do. And then you will have all the compiled scripts, okay, like this. And then you have subfolders. See, some scripts are inside the subfolders, and then you have to correctly set up the source folder so that it will decompile all the files for you correctly. But this is not the topic of this tutorial, because that would be a little bit more complicated than decompiling and recompiling a single scripts. Because basically what I do to decompile is drag and drop to Champollion, and it will be automatically decompiled. So I'm putting all the scripts that I'm working with in the root folder, because it just makes things easier for me, okay? So I don't have to, I'll have it in one place, and I don't have to continuously move back and forth inside the folders and fiddle around, you know? So basically to decompile, I just drag and drop to Champollion. I'm just not doing it right now because it would overwrite something here, and I don't need that right now. And in Caprica, you double-click, and then you manually add the name. And make no mistakes here. The best way is rename, copy the name, then you go here and copy it in here, okay? Don't do it manually, only if you're very safe when you're typing, because nothing bad will happen, but then you have to redo it. You know what? It's better to just copy-paste. Better practice, I'd say. Okay? So then you write your scripts, you name your script, whatever you want to name it. In that case, I need a new quest script, and we're gonna rename it to Global World Interactor GWI Quest script, and then we need our Perk fragment, and we're gonna name this one GWI Perk fragment AP. PSC. Open in Notepad++, another very convenient tool, and just my get-to-go tool for scripting outside of the creation kit. And there's also a plugin for Notepad that will, you can import the Papyrus language with it. I just haven't it installed yet, so it is giving you better visual feedback of all the instances of variables and properties and functions and whatnot. And okay, so basically what we do here, as you can see, we have our Perk fragment code, which will be executed on the Perk, and that will be executed on the quest. Okay, quest, MRS quest script. Okay, see? Make sure to also rename it up here. GWI. Okay, and then you will need to have it manually imported into that file. And that's what I'm going to do now. That's on global is basically just a configuration variable, and you just copy as a new record, and you rename. See, for easy, convenient workflow, you just have to rename the, how do you say again, the prefix, and everything else can stay in plain. Then use a new file, and I'm gonna name it GWI General World Interactor. Interactor, is this correct? Interactor. Translator. Instigator. Interactor. Interactor, yeah. Okay, so that's how it's named. That's our quest, okay? GWI main quest, and we're gonna copy as new record the perk as well. And you can do that. If you create your own mod, just do it like I'm doing it here. I don't care. I don't really care about credits, and just you can take whatever I create, because you know, I don't know. Let me open this Pandora's box here for me. That's my personal opinion. Okay. Let me start off with this. What you see here, everything you see on the Nexus, that's a combined effort of the whole community. Everything, literally everything, okay? Not only Starfield, everything you see here. If you go to the Nexus mods, everything you see here, that's a combined effort of literally millions of people, okay? So you don't stand out in that. That's the first thing, given the size of the Nexus. You do not stand out in that. There are some people that have more participation in work and whatnot, but still, you are part of the community. So that's the first thing that I want to point out. And as an individual, you can never be as good as a community, okay? That's just a general topic I wanted to address before in a video, but I'm doing it right now. And given that combined effort and how we share work on the Nexus, the result is what we've got now after 20 years. You gotta imagine that probably even more. I think the Nexus exists since before the 2000s. I'm not sure, exactly sure. Or no, that's incorrect. I believe it exists since 2004, so it's about 20 years. So it started existing, it came into existence by the time of Morrowind. Maybe 5 or 6, I'm not sure. So however, let's say it's about 20 years that we mod creators interact and share with each other. And all the things that you see on the Nexus and wherever you go to download mods, it's all a combined effort and all due to share. So a very unpractical thing to do here is, and I don't want to talk away your right to be entitled to your own work, okay? That's not what I want to do. You have totally the right to do with your personal work whatever you want, and limit your personal work however you want it. I don't want to talk that away, but from a practical point of view, that's not good. That's stupid, okay? Imagine Bethesda, a company with, I don't know, how many people were working on Starfield? 750, something like that, I believe, or 250, could be wrong. Imagine there would be one person in that team that says, Starfield is all based on my work. Everybody would give him the finger and say, there's the door, get out, okay? So long story short, nobody likes if you act like yeah, and I should probably not use inappropriate language, but that's just my character, and I don't know how else to put it. Don't be an entitled douche, okay? If you want to share your work with others, because the general idea is not that you're making yourself a symbol, that we all know and we all respect you for your work and for your creativity and your artistic approach. That's very well appreciated. But we need to contribute to the community in order to get where we want to go, okay? So you cannot put all the burden of all the work that needs to be done in Starfield on your personal shoulders. That doesn't work out. It can't work out. The result would be that everybody is going to leave the community, and then at one point the whole community, mod creation community, specifically about Starfield, would collapse, okay? So, that's my opinion. Share your work. Be proud of your work, share it with everyone, everybody is appreciating your effort, but don't be an entitled douche. And I actually mean that in both directions, as a mod creator and mod user. Don't be an entitled mod user that comes to mod creators' pages and flames them and pisses them off because they think they have an entitled right to whatever, because you totally don't. And also don't be an entitled mod creator that you think you are something special, okay? Because you're not. And even if you are something special, always remember there's always someone that's even more special than you, okay? You always need to ground, like we say in German, du musst dich mal erden, ja? Du musst mal runterkommen, bleib mal cool. So, stay cool, don't be a douche, don't fuck around. Okay, so, that's about that. Let's continue with the actual tutorial here, okay? The main quest, the quest is adding the perk to the player, and the perk has the script attached, which will, and that's the funny thing to do here, activate the actual function to what I'm doing in the game by pushing the actor in the quest script. And the reason why we do that is, even with the creation kit, it's more complicated to address the properties that I defined here than in a quest. The quest has a more global approach. Inside a quest script, you can more globally and more easily address all the form instances we have in the game, okay? All the forms that you see here. Activators, armors, whatever it comes to. Everything can be more easily addressed in the quest. There are some individual cases, like for example, if you take a magic effect, and then you would need to use a magic effect, there's a better approach, but it's better to do that in a quest script than in a perk fragment script, okay? And in the perk script, we declare, in the perk, we actually declare our conditions, okay, which will limit with what we have to interact. And there's already a very critical thing to point out here, because as I already said initially, in the creation kit, you will easily figure out what is what, but here in Xedit, it's not so easy to figure out unless you fiddle around with it, and that's actually what I did. I fiddled around with it about 2 or 3 hours until I actually found out what needs to be done to make it correct. And you have the tab count here, okay? And in the creation kit, that means there's a tab for the one that executes the perk, which is you, the player, or the perk owner in that case. And then you have a target, okay? And this is also present inside the property definitions inside the perk function here. See? Target, and the AK actor, aka you. You, the player, is AK actor and AK target. So that's also present in the script, okay? So tab 1 is the player, and there we have hex logic here. It starts with a 0, even though it says 2. It starts with 0 and 1. So not 1 and 2, but 0 and 1. You always need to start counting at a 0. So run on tab index 0 means run on the tab related to the one that has the perk, which is you, the player. And run on tab index 1 means run on the target the perk is executed on, okay? That's what it means. That is already a very critical thing to understand, so that you do not mess up the conditions. And then you add the condition here, okay? Just add condition. And then you it default starts with equal to, and then you can equal to means, you can imagine what that means, probably better than I do, because you're English, I think. And then you put your perk in here, okay? You could also use is player, I think, if it is present. Is player. No, not. Then you would need to use get ID. Get is ID. Yeah, before I'm going to fiddle around here, I'm going to just show off another location here. Creation kit wiki, because that's my major source actually for creation kit wiki condition for information. Okay, so you have the scripting reference, and they're reworking the original wiki. That's why the ESP team provided the old form, and that's basically all the script functions here. That's my main source of information, and then you have the condition functions, which we are messing around with right now here. And you just hit Control F or F3 and search for player, get as player, and then you will highlight all the stuff that you need. But we are get ID. No, get is ID, I believe it was. Yeah, right. So you would use that one, and then you would be presented with a reference prompt, and then you would fill it in with the player. Okay, that would be that would create the same result as has perk MRS actor push perk. And as you can see, we're creating new mod, so we're going to exchange this one with GWI actor push perk. Okay, and the rest can stay like that. Which is basically what it says is if the actor that has the perk is the only one that should interact with a menu, okay? That's what it's doing here. And then you have the condition is actor, so it means the menu that will show up, the interaction menu will only show up for actors, 1, but not 0 when they are sitting and when they are sleeping. And I did that because what did I do here? Why is it showing up here suddenly? And I did that because when I was interacting to push those actors when they're sitting or sleeping, they would act extremely crazy and would be thrown around in the room. So basically what I think has happened here is that pushing actors is not very good, doesn't like interacting with a sleeping and sitting animation. That's what I'm thinking here. Wait, let me quickly control something here. No. How that came to be. I'm confused right now because Did I accidentally? No, I did not. Oh, I changed that. Why the fuck is it in here? It's not supposed to be in here. I can't even remember that I did. Maybe I accidentally hit a key and then it copied it over, so it's not supposed to. So as I said, the target is an actor, does not sit, does not sleep, okay? So that's the condition that we are defining here, where the menu should show up, okay? And obviously, as I said, I want to have a global word interactor. I'm not going to make use of any of those conditions because I want to start with no limitations. And how you do that is just, I think we're going to find out together here, is, I'd say it's is form, but that doesn't exist probably. Get in current form list, yeah, is, basically you have to remove all the conditions, okay? So you can just delete the target sector. And this makes sure that you can virtually interact with everything you present the game with, okay? And let's change the interaction key to interact. Perk entry ID, this is where the menu entry is in place. If you define it as 1, it will be before the original, the default one, and you can also set a flag here. I believe it's here, or I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's here. You can add flags here that will replace the default. Wait, let me show you an example for this. Yeah, this mod tutorial is gonna be a little bit longer this time. I can tell you that right away, because I do it out of the box. I've got into it unprepared this time, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because maybe you're going to learn something more. So, as you can see, the UCR04 harvest sample perk, that was my perk from the original game that I copied over into my mod, and then I just configured that one, okay? So that gave me all the examples that I need to create an interaction menu, okay? So as you can see, the flag that I was talking about, script flags replace default, that means that it will replace the actual default menu entry. So when you approach an actor, it usually says a talk, and if you click replace default, it will replace that one, okay? So talk never shows up. But obviously that perk was for interacting with flora, I believe, or a specific quest flora. Interact, yeah, we've done that. And now we go to the quest. And I can't exactly remember which quest I was using as example. And I'm actually too lazy and it would probably take way too long to search for that. So it was a very small, it just basically had a player alias attached and had some examples for script and properties. And all the things that I need to enable it already tagged, priority 10, so it doesn't overlap with other, which is, you can actually put that down to 0 because it doesn't change anything at all. The priority of a quest is only important for dialogue, but that actually was partially wrong. Also, the major reason why you want to fiddle around with the priority is dialogue. Where does the dialogue appear prioritized in comparison to other dialogue? But the priority can also potentially have an impact on how scripts that are attached to the quest are executed. Are there quests with higher priority? Then those scripts on that quest will have a higher priority to be executed. Okay, so that's. But I don't think you can omit actually that in Starfield, because the Starfield engine is so robust, and in 2024 we have such badass computers. You don't really need to be concerned about that in the year 2024. I think. Maybe at one point, if you have like 400 or 600 mods installed, and a lot of those mods have a lot of scripts, and then everything will add up. Maybe at that one point you can, and then maybe you have something like Fallout 4 where we have to deal with recombines bullshit in the center of the city, and maybe then you can start being concerned about script execution on quests, and then you have to fiddle around with the priority. But long story short, you actually only need that for where the dialogue would show up in the dialogue menu. Prioritized in comparison to others. So we have our script here, and you add the script. It says remove now because it's already added. And then you will get that defaulted, and then it says script, and then you set add a script here. Then you put in your name. It needs to be exact the same name as what you write here. No? So let's change that. GWI. Okay, and our perk property. GWI. I'm just going to show you here in... Oh, wait. Did I not choose it? I did. I'm just showing you how to fiddle around here. You probably don't... I'm probably for the general interactor, I'm probably not going to use some of those properties. So, the actor type robot, I'm going to use that. The force value, because we don't deal with force, don't use that. And player ref, you can leave that. Player ref is always important. And usually, that's also a pre-important information, pre-creation engine. For me personally, and other people would probably disagree, but for me personally, the best way to set up scripts that are related to the player is using a player alias. Never do that. Okay, I'm going to show you something. Never go to the player actor and put a script on him. Okay, I mean, Bethesda does that, and it's Bethesda, they can do that, it's their game, okay? But never do that. Do not use the player. And I'm, probably some of you already figured out, yeah, but the unofficial patch team does that as well. They already touched the player. Yeah, they can do so. First, they know what they're doing, and second, they are fixing bugs. Okay, so that's totally valid for them to touch the player. But you as a mod creator, do not touch the player. Leave him alone. He doesn't exist for you. Use a quest, define him as player alias, and then you can fill in the alias, the force reference alias, to interact with the player, okay? That's the practical way that you do it. So, start game enabled, make sure that flag is tagged. Priority doesn't matter, you can set it to... in Fallout I always set it to 50, but it doesn't really matter, as I said already. Put your script here, and the perk and the player, we're gonna leave that. Then we're going to the scripts again, and... don't need those two. Okay. And the rest, you can keep it. I'm just going to rename this to... the origin was actor push perk, and we're gonna name it global interaction perk. So, and there's another thing that you need to know here. This here is not the original name of the perk, as you can see. And where's the difference? I could use the actual original name. So I could enter here GWI actor push perk here. But that's not important right now. It's only important in the creation kit later. What that means, if I put that name here exactly like I name it where I defined it, when you fill the property in the creation kit, there's an auto button. I'm not sure if it's going to be present in the creation kit for Starfield, but usually there's an auto button that will auto-fill the property for you. So if you use a different name that's not exactly reflecting this name, you need to manually fill it, but the difference here is that you're not bound to that single name, so you can better instances, how do you say in English, instantize, or, man, I can't even say the word, but you know what I mean? You can more easy create instances of this property. That's the only difference, actually. So, and then we have auto. Make sure that it will auto-fill when you use that. A constant, okay? A constant you will use if you know that that property will never change. If the property is always the same, you use a constant. If you want to change it, for example, when I'm using... Wait, let me go back. If I'm using a global variable that I want to change via xedit, for example, you do not make use of a constant. Okay, you leave that out. Okay, and mandatory means it is mandatory to fill that property. If that property is not filled, the script will not execute. That's also important. Okay. Also important if you do not want to have a mandatory. Okay, if it is an optional thing that you want this property filled, which would be a good practice, for example, if you want to leave that property empty and want to fill it later via script, then you would put the mandatory away, I'd say. And a script, right? So, and that's where you fill them, as I said already. See, that's where you fill them. That's why you need to define the properties. You need to do that in manual. Need to do that in Xedit manually. In the creation kit, that thing will happen automatically. And then but here you need to reflect the same name that you are using here, okay? That's important. And don't confuse that up, what I was telling you before about the exact name of the actual perk, because that's the property name, and that is the perk, aka perk name. And don't confuse that up, okay? So this must exactly be labeled the same as this, and player ref, of course. And make sure you don't confuse up big letters with small letters. It must be exact the same, or it will fail. That's just a limitation currently we are experiencing because we do not have official tools. Okay? So you can leave the rest, actor and player load game. Make sure that our code is executed when you start the game or when you load an already existing game. And of course, sometimes you have mods that you want to just put into your game and don't want to start over with a game you use on player load game. So, and then we say self the script, and there we have the script. Then if player ref has not that perk, please give him that perk. See, and there's a debug notification, because you can use trace, but I'm actually using the notification because I test what I'm doing in the game, and then I will have a real-time information on if things work or not. So you can also use message, or message box, I believe it is. Okay, I'm using notification. And add perk. False means no text will show up when you get when that perk will be added. As I already said, go here, add perk. That will tell you what the function exactly does. Where is it? Come on, add perk. There we go. And actor. Also needed information. Those functions are limited to specific form types. So the add perk can only be executed on actors and hierarchies under it. So the actor reference can have a perk added, but an instance over the actor, which would be form, you cannot add a perk to a form. You must specifically define it as an actor. That's what it does. Technically or practically, you can actually add a perk to a form with workarounds if you declare a form as an actor, but that's how do you say, that's not beginner stuff you want to mess around with in the beginning, okay? So here we add our perk, and that's our function that will be executed via the perk script. Oh, wait, Control S, douche. And we're going to the perk script now, and I think I've already got over that one. Condition, okay, the player has the perk, and then it will interact. And then you define the fragment here. Keep the index at 2. That's also specifically right now like that, because I was trying the fragment index 1. It doesn't work. Start with 2. I'm not sure why that is. I can't tell you, but that's just a limitation we have to deal with right now because of no official tools. Start with fragment index 2 and go on from that. I was trying with fragment entry 0, 0 and 0, 1. It doesn't work. Long story short, start with 0, 2. Okay. GWI. GWI, everything is GWI'd, I think. GWI. Yeah, I'm not, as you can see, I'm not talking very often in front of a microphone because I'm coughing the whole time, no? And I forgot to get something to drink. So everything is perfectly defined now. And the perk fragment script. As I already said, AK target ref, AK actor. Player, target. Okay, just so that you understand. What was it? Tap count? Only one tap. Okay, player. And the other target. Okay, let me show that on the other mod again. Player, target. But since we do not have a condition for the target, we don't need to define it here, but that doesn't mean that you should delete that here. Keep this, okay, because that's the standard fragment property definition, which is defined in the perk, original perk script, right? Go there, show that off so that you get some understanding of it. Source scripts, source in perk. Perk. There you go. You can also define an integer, but there you go. Okay, that's the default definition. So keep that. Don't remove that only just because you don't define a target. Okay, keep it like that. So then you have our mod name, which is how did I name it? General World Interactor. GWI, General World Interactor. Yeah, and if you ask, did you just copy pasted everything? I copy paste right now, because usually you only put all the code that you see in here. The first time you have to actually write it. There's no way around it, okay? You have to write all the code the first time around, but then from there everything gets more easy, I'd say, because you just have to copy paste if you do repeatedly the same stuff again. So another very important information, basically that just makes sure you don't need that kind of bug tracing once the creation kit is released, because then things will be more robust. But the reason why I'm doing this here is, and I don't want to bash here, I don't understand this as a bash here, we have some experience with mod installation tools, I'd say. And they created all sorts of problems during the initial 3 months with Starfield. And that's, which basically means they didn't correctly install mods. And that's just and it still happens, and that's just a thing to make sure that the mod is correctly installed here, okay? So if it doesn't find the script, because sometimes Vortex and the other, I believe MO2 is actually fixed right now, but Vortex for some users that are using Game Pass, I think, I'm not sure, I don't have any insight and I don't have any detailed information about that. But sometimes you have users showing up that will still have a wrong installation, and that's just making sure when this happens that those players get those messages, and then they will come to your page and say, hey, I've got that message, what happened? And then you know right away, okay, something went wrong on the install, maybe reinstall. If Vortex doesn't do the trick, do it manually, okay? Which is actually my preferred way. So, and then when the perk is added to the player, whenever, and defined here, it will automatically show the interaction menu, and when you push the interaction key, it will do that. It will always do that as well, okay? So it shouldn't be here, should only be happening one time, but it isn't wrong to do that every time you execute that. So whenever you execute the key, it will say in the quest script, and you define it here, and that's how you define a script property, exact name without PSC. Then you say quest script, which is the instantiation inside this script here, okay, is game get form from file 2090, and that's important. That's also no creation engine available specific. That's important here. 2090 has to be 82A. If you have any other, and I'm having another ID here, okay, it will not work. It will not respond to that ID. So 2000, I'm not sure how that came to be. Maybe you have to ask Team XEdit why that happened, but I can guess why this is, simply because we do not have the creation engine and we cannot dynamically add IDs, or cannot correctly add IDs. So there was probably a consensus that you say, okay, 2090, it's probably hex related. I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't have any insight in that, how it works exactly. So 2090 means 82A. So that's also a thing that you need to do. Change the form ID of the quest to, or it doesn't work, to A, okay? Important, very important. And for every other instance of ID where you make use of an ID, you need to do that as well. I haven't delved into that yet, but maybe I'm going to make it, or I'm probably not going to show that in another video, because at that point where we got there, the creation kit is probably already released, so it doesn't make sense. But make sure to have 82A and 2090, okay? There I say it in the script, this has to be ID 82A, or the 2090 isn't correct. So then it will say the quest script that we defined here, execute the function push actor and send the target and the actor, aka player, as property to this script function. And here it will receive the target and receive the player, okay? Send the target, send the player, receive the target, receive the player, and then, as you can see, the target is defined here, will have the code applied that you define here. That's how it works, okay? That's how magic. And we don't want to push. What we want to do is we're just going to remove all that code because I just want to show off here, okay? You have been interacted with like a pro. There you go. That's all we do, okay? That's all we do for today because I feel like that video is already too long. So, and you know how every mod tutorial scripting is always starting with a classical hello world, and that's all we do because it's already getting too long here. I feel that. Learning functions, you do that here, okay? I'm probably going to make another video in a month or so, or in 2 weeks or so, I'm not sure, to define a specific, but go here to learn the functions. Search for the function that you want to use, and make sure it can be executed in the quest area, okay? That's also important. And then you do your thing. But the video, as I said, is already getting too long. I'm just going to make sure everything is correctly defined here, that I do not have any traces of the old thing left over. Okay? I hope so. We've got that. Let's see. Let's quickly verify. GWI. Start game enabled. Yes. Fragment 2. Should be working. So, next step. What was I doing here? Refresh. Next step, you go to your... That's important. Do not forget that. Because I'm saying that specifically because I would often forget to define my own plugin, and then I'm literally, because I'm fucking old, you know, I'm an old dude, and I would sit here, why the fuck is it not working? And then after half an hour raging, I would figure out, oh, you fucking turd, you forgot to define the plugin in the plugin list. Okay? Don't forget about that. It is just rational to do so. There we have our plugin. And as always, copy. Rename and then copy. Do not do that manually. It's just safer that way. And for testing, we're going to put it in here. Save. Okay. This also makes sure that... yeah, we're going to keep that open. Make sure that it will be present in Xedit. See? If you do not define it in the list, that's a limitation of the not availability of Creation Engine right now. If you do not define it here in the list, it will not show up in the Xedit list. Okay? So now we compile the scripts, as I already said. Rename the quest script. Caprica. Yeah, does it. So I didn't do shit up. That's a good thing. Oh, wait. And the Perk fragment script. What? Good. Now we have our 2 scripts. And also... folder hierarchy, important. I do scripts source. Other people do. Wait, let me show you. Do I have a mod with a script inside? Hazards? Probably. See? They define a custom folder. I don't. Okay. He's not providing... oh, he has it. Okay, he has it outside. So they are defining a custom folder. I don't. I don't do that. Why? I'm not sure if that is best practice. I don't care. That's the first reason. And I am used to old school Skyrim scripting. And in old school Skyrim scripting, that was the best for me personally, in my personal opinion. You do not have you did not have subfolders. You just had source. You just had scripts, and then you had source. And you don't had all that shit. You can use the search function. Why the fuck do you have to subfolder it? You know, whatever. I don't want to complain. That shouldn't be the topic here. It doesn't matter. You copy. And I just pointed that out because you want to create the scripts folder in your data menu in Starfield, you know, where it is. I think at this point you know where it is and what you need to do here. If you're a creator, you probably know what you're doing. At least that is something that you need to know. Where is your Starfield folder and how to create a folder. I'm quite sure that you can do that. So you just copy those scripts over. And I want to point out a warning here right now. I think what's going to happen now is that this menu will be omitted on the actor, okay? But it will be displayed on other instances of the game. And I'm sorry, this video is very long and probably talked more than I should have, but come on. you've learned something, I think. So, there we go. See, there we have our menu option. Interact, R shift. You have been interacted with like a pro. Okay?
How can I be of service, Captain?
Okay? Bam. And push. Interact. Push. Goody, goody. So, that's about it. That's about this tutorial video. I'm sorry that it took so long, but there were some things that I want to address, and yeah. I'm going to speed it up as always. Thank you for watching. I'm out.